There will be no technical difficulties this time because every art talk we have these like technical difficulties of like getting people on and all this stuff, and like every time because nobody's ever done a Facebook Live, and so this one we have none. Okay, so we are actually going live on Facebook and Instagram right now. Hey Instagram, this is Art Talk Tuesday. Yes, so 2 lives. So I'm so excited. Justin Cardoza, guys. So we usually have a painter on here or an artist, usually a painter, but this time we're switching it up and we have a photographer on here, and not just any photographer.
Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, no. So it's kind of So it's not just any photographer. So this guy, he photographs and films. It's I guess you would say cinematographer, right? That's the official thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has filmed for the Weather Channel, Discovery Center.
The Discovery Channel.
Okay, yeah. That one show, Naked and Afraid. Do you guys know that one? Yeah, he was in Colombia.
Ecuador.
Yeah, okay.
It's next door to Colombia. I know the Amazon rainforest. Spent 2 months there living in the jungle. So
yeah, so he's legit. So he's done cinematography. He's also allergic to cats.
Oh yeah.
So, and just Universal Studios. Like this guy is like all around. I remember in the beginning when we were first starting out, I was like, well, we're traveling to Texas to do this, and you're like, well, I'm traveling to Africa to shoot this, and like, so we kind of like built our companies kind of at the same time, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's been cool to see us both.
Yeah, because it's almost like it's like a friendly competitive kind of a thing too. And I just want to share real quick before he shows his backstory. Man. So this is so if anybody knows, before I did painting full time, I did promotion. So promotional modeling. We had our own little company and all this. So we made a calendar. This is 2013 calendar that Justin Justin made for us. We have, if you can kind of see on the back here, we have models with big trucks, and I'll show you the first one. It's great, guys. 2013 calendar. This is like what it is. We had all the girls in my modeling company. We were promoting a big truck company, and we sold these calendars for like 1 for $15, 2 for $20. We sold them at the gun shows, and Justin made this. And I remember sitting on his couch, like being like, "Show me how to edit photos," like before we made it big or anything, like wow. And he basically did this almost for free, kind of a thing, like just to kind of like get experience. And so you're gonna just tell us a little bit, like maybe start back to when I met you. Don't tell the story about how we met. Maybe later.
So I picked up my first camera when I was like 14 actually, and I don't know why they let me do this, but I was taught how to run camera for a volunteer TV show, like just TV. It's like a live TV program thing. And so I started doing that at like 14. I don't know why they were letting me do that. I'm certainly glad they were. In fact, the guy who taught me how to use a camera has since then been my mentor, and he's moved to Idaho, and we just saw him this past week. So it was cool to get to catch up, and like he got me into this, and it's his fault.
Okay, it's like some of those people.
It's been a long journey since then, and so I spent many years as a starving artist. I felt like the musician he's like in a band, but like not really in a band.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's my job. Like you don't, so you're jobless. Like, and I eventually made a living doing like video and photography work that like I didn't want to do, but like it paid the bills. And so for a while I ran a business that we shot wedding films, and that was enjoyable. I eventually moved out to LA. To try to make it in Hollywood. I always swore I wouldn't do that, but then some opportunities lined up, and I was like, you know what, I think maybe I will. So I went out there, and really funny story, nothing really worked in LA. It kind of worked for a little while. It wasn't until I came back that I started getting LA work.
Of course.
Which was really strange, and it all happened to be travel work, so I didn't need to be in LA for it. And since then, I've like you mentioned, I've been able to shoot in like crazy places around the world, almost every continent now. I work on a lot of fell into this niche of like reality work, which I also swore I would never do. But like
just
reality,
don't do porn. And then you're fine.
Reality work has really changed a lot over the past 5-10 years, and there's a lot of good work there, a lot of really good art, and which is what I love, and it's so complex now. There's so much money in it, and big budgets, that it's exciting to work on such a big, complicated project. And so I fell into that by accident, and it's kind of been my claim to fame. And now I freelance and stuff. I worked for a corporate company for a while as their digital media creator, so I'd create content for their marketing and stuff. So I ran a lot of their content for their social media and website. And then I have transitioned this year to start our own business with my wife Chelsea, to launch the world's first smart case for drones. And so we launched a company called Modbox, and that came from just personal use flying drones around the world, doing different jobs. I found kind of a niche where I was like, somebody should make this better. And
somebody should make this product.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make it. Yeah.
So I was like, hey, let's do it. And we found an investor that believed in us, and
wow.
And so we launched, and it's been like a whole another world, and it's fun. And now I get to create all kinds of marketing. So I'm still filming and doing photography and all this stuff. Partially on the side with TV shows still, but I'm now creating all kinds of content for our company, and putting like my work to the test to see if it really works.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been fun.
That's amazing. Yeah, you guys just got back from Wyoming?
Yeah, we stopped in Wyoming and Idaho.
Like literally days ago.
Yeah.
To really do stuff on So Modbox, just to talk about it really quick before we move on to questions. So it's a drone case that I remember you talking about it in the beginning before you guys got all this stuff, and so you can basically just put your drone in it and it charges it.
Yeah, so it's actually got a handful of like features to it, but the big one is that it charges by plugging the case in. Drones burn through batteries super fast, and so our case makes it so you don't have to keep unpacking your case or your gear and charging it and repacking it and unpacking it, charging it and repacking. Just plug the case in, you're good to go, and it's got a few other tools built in that just makes it so easy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I can't believe nobody has thought of this before. Like it's something that needs to happen. And I
built it for myself first.
Yes. Okay, You're like, I'll just use this prototype for a while. And his wife Chelsea, we just had her in the advanced membership group, and her podcast episode will air here in a couple weeks all about e-commerce marketing, Google Ads, SEO, all that stuff. So you have her online marketing experience with his creativity, and it's a good match. Okay, so what was the tipping point that took you from hobby to professional artist? When I met you, I think you were you mostly?
Yeah, I was full-time when we met.
Okay.
I was full-time doing video and photography.
7 years ago.
I think when I met you, I was making okay money. I was getting by. Over the next few years, I started making decent money to where like I wasn't quite as much of a starving artist. I was paying my bills. I could go see a movie. I could go have a drink and not be like, I got no money. So I started getting to where life was a little more comfortable, but it was still, as a freelancer, it's the feast or famine ride. And I think when it really started, there's kind of two places where I stopped becoming a starving artist, and then another place where I started hitting some of my big like lifelong goals of like working in big name projects. The first step was just realizing the value of myself and my work, that there's value there and I need to charge for it. And at first you wince, you go, it's going to cost this much? Is it worth that? Because you just feel like you just figured it out, and like, because I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college.
No school at all. Like not even kindergarten.
I homeschooled, and then I didn't do college, so I've never been to school. And so it's like I just kind of figured this stuff out, and it's like I don't know that I'm worth that or my work's worth that, and so you just have to eventually look at your competition and realize this is what it's worth. This is the time you put into it. This is what they need. This is the value it brings to your client. So it's worth this. And I started raising my prices every year once I started like setting real prices, every year I'd raise my prices a little bit, and every year that I raised my prices, I got more clients. And you think you have this fear that like if I raise my prices, people stop paying for my service.
Yeah.
And it was the opposite. Like if you're doing decent, even just decent work, and you're reliable, every time I raised my prices, I got more clients. So.
Cool. Yeah, I remember you, just like a side story, I remember whenever you were doing the bridal expo and you were one of the only 2 video people there, and there was like one other one that was just kind of more of a, just not as like
it's like a
leveled
documentary
up.
wedding video kind
yeah.
of.
And I remember going and like I remember one time I helped you like get email addresses or business cards, and I was just like, this is a new thing. You were like a little bit ahead of the wedding video thing before wedding video was a thing. And his videos are so cool. I held a camera once at one of the videos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot one.
Yeah, I just like made sure nobody knocked it over. Really. Yeah. And they're so cool. But yeah, so just having a decent or really good product and knowing your worth and that, and because wedding videos aren't cheap. And it takes a lot of time though.
And a lot of what the people for video and photography, especially for live events, is what they're paying for is that you're not gonna mess up. So even if it's not really difficult, you got to get it right, and you got to get it right the first time. Otherwise, they just lost their moment, you know.
And you're gonna show up and deliver on time.
Yeah.
And that's,
so it's that trust that they're paying for. And they could go cheaper, and they could get a cheaper guy, but that cheaper guy's camera battery might run out during the ceremony, or he might forget his charger, and or like weird things. There's a million things that could go wrong, and so that's what they're paying for, is just that reliability. And then obviously the art, they want you to have, they want to see something they like, and I think that applies for painting as well. You said I was a little bit ahead of the curve on the wedding videos, and now wedding films are like a thing, and a lot of wedding videos look really cinematic and really pretty. But it started with me saying, what would I want to see in my wedding? Why can't a wedding video be like a movie? And so that was my thing, is like, I want to make your wedding a short movie. And I just made what I wanted to see, and a lot of other people wanted to see that too. So it made it worked.
It worked out. Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
yeah, you've always been like very just like innovative and like thinking ahead, which is what I like to do as well. And like, what's the next thing? And you're always coming up with like new ideas and all this stuff. And so it's nice to have a friend around that's like, hey, I got this idea. Like, what do you think? And
and at the end of the day, it's usually what you want is probably what somebody else wants. It's
I
probably
want glitter, really.
It's like. Did you say glitter?
Glitter, yeah. My next series is gonna have glitter in
nice, it. Yeah. So I'm sure there's gonna be like 1,000 people that want that too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's brilliant.
Exactly.
And you'll be ahead of the curve. So you just do what you want and not what you think other people want.
Yes.
Do what like inspires you, and man, it works.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what makes up your typical work day, and how many hours do you spend working? Usually we say painting, but how many hours do you spend working on stuff that's not marketing stuff?
On an average day, like say Monday morning, I wake up and I usually start drinking alcohol about 9 a.m. No, I'm just kidding. I don't actually work. No, I feel like I'm always working, because either I'm shooting, or I'm editing, or I'm working with clients planning to shoot, or I'm researching and like learning, and that's partially because I work in a career that I love, and it's fascinating, and it's growing quickly, so there's always more to learn. But honestly, the amount of time I shoot is very little. I probably shoot a few days a month. There's some months I'll shoot for like 2 weeks that month. Maybe 3 weeks that month.
Usually video or photography?
Either or. My bread and butter is video. Photography I do because I enjoy it, and then it supplements, and it's usually by request. I've gotten more into commercial photography, and so that pays some bills.
I feel with the logos and stuff.
Yeah. And so, but even then, I've learned to make it something I enjoy instead of just doing the typical commercial photography. I reimagine it and then go, what would like be epic though? Like, what's more than just a product? Like, what could be like cool? And I try to make that, and then I when I do, sometimes I'll experiment with it, and I'll go to a client and be like, hey, this is what I could do now, and they go, oh, do that for us. Like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll do that.
And kind of on that subject, we're talking about like shooting your own photos on your iPhone for your Instagram or for your promo stuff, because with artists, I mean, your art is everything, but photos of your art is also everything. And so I wanted to get Justin on because he's the one who first was like, no, you don't just take a photo and post it, you edit it. And I was like, oh, well, how do you edit it? And he told me to download this thing called Snapseed. You can download it straight to your iPhone, or you maybe tell them about some other stuff, editing.
So Snapseed is a good app for your phone. Lightroom for your phone if you have an Adobe subscription already. Or there's like Enlight is a good app. But there's a number of apps, and basically most photos can benefit from a slight retouch. Sometimes you could even just do an auto on some of those apps. The auto button will like clean it up for you and make your whites white. And that's important for paintings as well, because if you shoot a photo of your painting indoors, sometimes your lights will make your paintings a little orange or yellow, and then it doesn't really stay true to what you painted. And so just a light cleanup, and like I said, auto, but really like to fix that yellowish color, there's usually a tool called white balance, or sometimes it's called a color tone or something to that effect. Different apps call it different things. And it's a slider. It starts with blue and goes to orange. If your canvas looks a little orange, slide it towards the blue and it'll whiten up, and all your colors will like turn more true to what you actually painted. And that helps like a million times, especially indoor photos. That's like the one thing that can make almost everybody's photos just a little bit better, is just correcting that white balance.
Okay. So that's the first thing you should do. So when you're taking a photo of your painting on a white area, correct the white balance. And then is there anything else that so first you correct the white balance, and then...
And then when it comes to Instagram or social media, like I ran the social media for a larger corporation for a while, and shooting their content, and basically when you go to your Instagram page and you see all the thumbnails, and you've seen pages that just look like gorgeous, or maybe they're all organized in a certain way, those are really attractive. So try to think of a theme or something for your Instagram page. It could be colors, like everything's got a certain color tone to it. But if you're painting all kinds of different stuff, then maybe you can't do that, but maybe it's symmetry is how you shoot it. It's a square canvas on like a white background, and they all look like that. So it's all kinds of different pictures, but it's like all a canvas on a white background, canvas on a white. So just like set up a spot in your house or studio or office where you have clean light. Maybe it's by windows, you got natural light coming in. Set up that spot and shoot every photo that you do at that spot. And so they all have like a consistent look. So when somebody drops on your Instagram page, like it's like a digital gallery, and it looks really nice and clean. There was something else we talked about.
So he mentioned this like brilliant idea, and I was like, wait, we gotta hold on, we gotta talk about that. He mentioned getting a white canvas, like everybody has a white canvas that's maybe overly large, and putting some kind of thing in the middle.
Yeah.
So like some kind of hook, and then you can hang your small canvas on that white canvas, take it over to a window, so you have that beautiful natural light, and take a photo right there. And I was like, why have I never done this? First off, because most of the stuff is way too big, but I have smaller stuff, so that's a perfect
But another way to cheat that, like if you're painting big stuff, doorways work really well, because if you open an outside door, you could go outside and shoot into the doorway. You have natural light coming in without being like harsh sunlight. It's just this nice glow, so it lights up your painting. So face it outside, and then you walk outside and you shoot back towards it. And if it's a large painting, you could hang a sheet or even get a big roll of paper at photography stores. They'll sell for like $40 a giant like 5 foot wide roll of paper of solid colors, and you just hang that and put your painting up against it, and you can make these like gallery looking photos with your phone, with clean lighting and a nice background. Like you can make really nice shots with your phone. So
yeah, definitely. And so lately we've been doing the podcast shout outs, and I tag you guys on my Instagram story. By the way, if anybody wants an Instagram story shout out, just go rate the podcast and I will shout you out. And so in doing that, I go to your page and I go and look for probably my favorite painting that I think my audience will respond to well, so that they'll follow you and I'll post it. But in finding that, I noticed none of you guys take photos with your art, like hardly any of you guys. And there's a rule, I know that if I post a photo of just my art, it in my numbers it'll get about maybe 500 likes, which sounds like a lot, but in my Instagram world, it compared to when I'm in it, it's over double. I know that if I'm in it looking, it doesn't have to be great. It really doesn't. And if you're in it, you get, so what's a good so I guess using that natural light to be in it, everybody looks better with natural light. Maybe some other, because he did do our beautiful calendar here, so he knows how to pose people. What's some good ideas for posing with your art?
So definitely, what you said about just be in the photos, because people love to see that, and I've seen the same thing, a lot more reaction when there's a person, and even with our company Modbox, we'll post our product, then we'll post me with our product, hey, check it out, and then everybody comments and likes, and it's what? It wasn't even a good photo of me. I was just okay. But don't stand straight on like this.
Look at me with my photo.
Yeah, I mean, kind of angling yourself a little bit, looking towards the camera. Think, some people smile awkwardly. Some of you might think this is a silly thing to note, but literally just think of something funny and just laugh to yourself.
Yeah, I do that too.
And then snap, and then it looks natural, and it's not just a that is horrible. And people just wince and they see it, they want to scroll past and not stop. So just make it look playful and fun. Do something it's my art, just make it you. But yeah, definitely given some sort of angle, watch your light. If you're in the shade and this is bright background behind you, be tricky. And then if you're shooting if you're painting on the side of a building or something outside, if you can, it makes a big difference if you just shoot at the right time of day. If you shoot at dusk and the sun has just gone down and it's not glaring and the sky is orange, you just take this big wide photo, you just go, look at my work, and then it just looks like this gorgeous photo. And then you could even throw in a couple Instagram filters or something and make it a little prettier. And then, man, it's a thumb stopper where people scroll by, oh, that's pretty, look at this. And then your art stands out, and the sky's nice, and you're hey, check out my newest thing. So
yes.
Yeah.
That reminds me to do that, because I was just thinking, how can I, change it up? Because all my photos are look at me painting. That's it, painting it. So we just did one at Coreytown that we just finished. Mm-hmm. So I might, tomorrow night I'll probably go down there and take some more photos when the sky is pretty.
Yeah, show it in context. Show people interacting or enjoying it. So or
that's good.
If it's on the street corner, instead of just showing your art, show the street corner and show this is a bustling city point of interest, and my art is just standing out there for everybody to see. Check this out, isn't this cool? So kind of show it in context and show that scene, make it a scene, make it a story instead of just the art. If it's a brewery, you painted something in, show maybe the whole bar and all the beer tap behind it while you got your big piece over here, and I did a bunch of architectural photography and real estate photography, and if you look at home real estate magazines, those exteriors that they shoot, all of them are at twilight. It's not even sunset, it's after sunset, after the sun's dipped behind, and you get this golden glow, and they all look amazing, but they all shoot just at the right time. So it's the time makes such a big difference. That's easy, that's free. You don't need a special piece of equipment. Just your phone at the right time of day can change a lot.
That's a good idea. That's something I do not do right now, and I'm gonna do it just because we're talking about it. Because I was just thinking, all my stuff is the same, and just right time of day and getting people interacting with it. That's gold.
Yeah,
That's
showing
great.
context. That's what you're making the art for, is that interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Do you have like a photography? I guess we're kind of talking about your photography process. Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah. So we had talked a little bit before we started about a couple of things. I like to, when I try to shoot something, instead of just seeing something and go, okay, I'll shoot that and make it look good. I try to have a vision first, of what I want to see, and then I force that to be what I want to see. And so then I light it, or then I choose my angles, and then I use Photoshop, or maybe I don't use Photoshop, whatever I need to do to get my vision. And I think that could apply to painting, rather than just see something and painting it. See something and then make it your own, and go, but how, and I see that bird, but how would I really wish I saw that bird, and paint that, because maybe how you saw the bird is how 500,000 other people also saw that bird. So paint something that they didn't see, because that's what makes people stop. It's like something unusual and pretty, obviously something with beauty, but then unusual, where they go, oh, I've never seen a bird from that angle, like, this is flying right at me. Like, oh, that's cool.
Instead
that's
of just
powerful.
sitting on a branch already.
Yeah, it's like, because nobody sees birds like just flying right in their face, So like, just think of the unusual, because that's what makes people look twice.
Yeah, very good. Like, making a thumb stopper, a scroll stopper.
Yeah.
Yes, like he was saying, because really it's all about attention.
Yeah.
Like how much attention can you get online, and people are just scrolling. And we do it. I do it all the time. And you need to make one that's like, oh, that's either unusual, or that's really good, or it's different. I like that, and so don't just post something, like challenge to be a scroll stopper, a thumb stopper.
Yeah, and if you don't believe me, go to any like fashion magazine, or go to any clothing store and look at the posters of the models. None of them are just standing there going, like, they're all going like something unusual that you're like, no one ever would stand that. Like, you don't notice it because it's just like subconscious, but look at it and notice it. Nobody's ever standing, or their expressions never like normal. The models always look a little pissed off, but like it works.
It works. Like, do I like this outfit?
It's the odd subtle thing that stops people and makes them look twice and go, for some reason I like that.
Yeah.
So.
Like all those weird, is it the Geico commercials? That like they start out something freaking random, and they're like, oh yeah, by switching to Geico.
Yeah, just think outside the box and just like, like, I was telling her earlier, when I go to a shoot, I usually think of like 3 or 4 ideas, and I trash them, and I don't shoot that.
Yeah.
Because that's the same 3 or 4 ideas everyone else is gonna think of, and they're like, oh yeah, that's cool. I would have done that too. It's like it becomes cliche. So your first few ideas, trash them. Do your 4th or 5th idea, and that's probably gonna be unique. That isn't the obvious.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
we were talking that earlier, and I was like, that's genius. I didn't really think about that. So really challenge yourself. Throw away your first couple ideas. Like, just throw them. Just use something. Think a little bit. Ryan, actually, my fiance, is like, he's my idea generator, because he's just here, there. He shoots ideas at me, and I'm like, that one we can go with.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like a numbers game,
It is. Just like everything.
Take the first few, nope, and then you grab one of the later ones and go, maybe that one.
Yeah.
That wasn't cliche. That wasn't like what I first thought of.
Yeah.
And so.
Good. Is there one thing you don't like to work without?
A budget.
A budget?
No.
Okay,
I think artists can appreciate that. One thing I mean, no, not really. Like
a charged battery.
Yeah. I mean, I would be beyond the necessities.
Yeah.
I've done work with $100,000 cameras to my phone.
Okay.
And paid work from my phone to crazy expensive cameras and crews with like 60 cameras on it.
Yeah.
So it's that's what's really fun and fascinating about my career. Everybody thinks you have to have like all the nice gear and all the expensive stuff, and you don't. And I assume maybe it's that way with painting. There's always a quality difference, but if you're making interesting stuff that, even if you just had black paint, you just had one color, that almost forces more creativity, and you can make cool stuff out of it. In fact, I almost miss the days when I had less gear, and sometimes I'll force myself to, out of practice, to not bring all my gear to a shoot and shoot something with almost no gear, just a camera and a lens and like nothing else, and like, how can I make this so epic that it beats my other work, even with all my other equipment? Like, so you know, maybe you have all the tools and all the paints and all the easels and whatever you guys have.
all the paintbrushes.
Yeah, all the coolest paintbrushes. Now, but like, maybe try doing something with half your tool set, and just going back to the basics of just like creativity. How do you make something simple like so cool, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I'm always telling them, like, you don't need expensive paint. Actually, this painting right here was done with craft paint, and everybody's like, it looks so cool. I'm like, it's not anything special. It just, craft paint was cheap, and that's what I had. So.
Yeah, and because if I could take a professional photo on my phone, then it's gonna be easy with a real camera.
Yeah.
If you could paint a great photo, great painting with something cheap or basic kit, then what can you do with a real setup? So
true. So true. Are there any art lessons you've learned the hard way? So art is photography and cinematography as well. So.
Stay in my niche. I've gotten into some complicated projects that I didn't accomplish the as good as I'd like. The client wasn't quite as happy because it was a little bit out of my range. There's a fine line where you want to push yourself, but know when to say, that's not up my alley. Like, you know what, I don't think I could like make you satisfied with this project. That's not my forte. Here's someone who is. Recommend somebody, because then you make a competitor a friend, and then your client's happy that you gave them, you delivered, their money was well spent, and you didn't make yourself look bad by doing a project poorly, because you don't really do that. You know, maybe you don't do text, you just do animals, and you're really great at animals, but you've never messed with text, and they're like, hey, do this big logo with all these texts. You know, maybe you should at least practice first, but if you're like, man, I'm not quite ready for that, like, here's someone who can. Like, it'll be good networking. The client will respect that decision, and they'll trust you more. So when they come back to, hey, this time it's an animal, and you said that's your forte, so I want you on this one. Yeah. It makes everybody happy and avoids a lot of headaches I've had trying to take on the wrong projects. And now I'll tell people, like, hey, I don't think that one's quite for me, but let me help you find someone who is.
Saves a lot of time too.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Just figuring out stuff.
Yeah, and the clients appreciate you 10 times more, and you'll find other work. So don't do it just for the money. Do it because it fits what you're good at, and because you enjoy it, or it's something that you want to do. If you just do it for the money, sometimes it ends badly.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Do you have a favorite past project that you've done? So you've shot in Africa and Thailand and all these places. Do you have a favorite past one besides your
probably
wedding?
one of my personal projects. I've done two. One was in Nicaragua.
One of the countries.
Yeah, I did one in El Salvador as well, but Nicaragua, I did a personal project for WPPI, which is one of the world's largest photo and videographer conventions in Vegas, and they do a big contest, and I submitted one. It's kind of a non-profit driven, like a look into Nicaragua, showing, you know, life in Nicaragua and comparing it to life where I lived. And it's like, you know, 80% of us are unhappy with our career, and then we looked at what their people are doing for a living there, and it's like, wow, this is rough. They're collecting trash and selling it for a penny a piece, you know, things like that. And it's like, what are we complaining about? Yeah. And so it's this really cool film. I was fortunate enough to win an award with it. And then my second one was in Thailand and Burma. It was another personal project. We just kind of looked at the story. We followed a few people. The guy who started a big music festival. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's like one of the biggest music festivals.
Tomorrow.
There is. No, it's not an EDM thing, but
I think
it's like a rock, like a hard rock
Oh,
fest.
okay.
It's like one of the first music festivals, like modern music festivals that toured and stuff. Maybe it'll come to me, but we took him and a few other people who don't know anything about Thailand, don't know anything about like volunteering or war. And we took them to this place where there's this almost like a civil war. There's all these refugees like hiding in the jungles, so they don't get found and shot. So they're like living in these hidden places, and we did this whole like it was like a 20-minute documentary, and it was so cool. We were able to find out what they needed most, and we pitched together and built them a water tower, and like changed like a lot of people, and but it changed us too, because we're like, we don't even know what's going on. We're just gonna go in blind. We had somebody who knew what was going on, so they brought us, and we're like, we just want to make a difference, and that sticks out to me. And
that's awesome. Yeah, anytime like anybody now complains, I went over to Africa and had like a similar kind of experience, and now anybody complains anything, I go, first world problems. I literally say it out loud. I'm like, first world problems.
Yeah,
like, your Wi-Fi is not working. Okay, literally that's the first thing I think. And you think about it, like you think you're like, like we're privileged over here. We know that. And like, yes, it's hard over there, but until you go and you're there and you're like, it's different. It took a while for me to like just kind of get back to normal too.
I mean, we interviewed women in brothels in the like a physical black market, and we were interviewing them, and while we would interview one, then we'd switch to the next, and then she'd go into the tent over there to meet with a client, and we're just like, holy, like. And so I've seen some like crazy stuff, and if you want, I say documentary, these were more like short films full of adventure and cool, like awesome, like fun stuff. Like it's really fun to watch, and if you want, I can send you a link if you have somewhere you want to share it.
Yeah, I'll link to it.
It's not a moneymaker. It's just something cool that we made. So but
okay, cool. Yeah. Not many people can be like, I just went over to Nicaragua and made this film and it changed my life.
Yeah,
like,
and
very interesting.
And the way I've gotten into a lot of these things, I could always trace back. Like I just did a few shows that are on TV right now. Holy Moly, Bring the Funny, and the Titan Games with Dwayne Johnson. Like those shows, like I could trace back to exactly how I got those jobs, and it came from being reliable, networking, and just like hustling really. But it was never me going to NBC like, hey, let me work on one of your shows. It was some small little gig in Springfield that paid almost nothing, and I did it, and I made a good relationship. We stayed connected. I hired him again. He'd hire me, and throughout time, he got this opportunity and introduced me to a producer. That producer ends up being a producer for American Ninja Warrior. That credit ends up getting me on Naked and Afraid, and it just snowballs. So like, always be putting your best foot forward. Be professional. Be reliable. Treat every client like they're gonna lead you to your next like big gig, because they might. And so. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So if you're in that like stage where you're like in the beginning and you're doing a lot of stuff for free, like we did it too. Like we did a lot of stuff for free, and
calendar.
Yeah, this calendar. You just do it well and make good connections. Like networking is everything. And I mean, he was homeschooled, so he didn't grow up with
Had no friends? No, I did, but
no, but he didn't grow up with connections. Is the thing.
Yeah.
And he had to make them.
It wasn't a family industry by any means.
No.
There was no professor at my college. I was like, let me hook you up with, like, I had to build it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of help and support in that, so I don't claim it all, but.
Yeah.
But just always put your best foot forward and network, seriously. It works.
Yeah. What are your future plans and goals? Well, okay, so your upcoming projects, we talked about Modbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Modbox is the big thing. I'm still doing TV shows and kind of freelance work by request just because I love it. So I would never be able to do Modbox and then never shoot again. Like I've got to shoot, so if somebody's gonna pay me to shoot, then deal,
Yeah.
So I'll keep taking those jobs. That Dwayne Johnson show is probably my next TV show coming up in January. And then the Naked and Afraid, I'll probably do a couple of those next year.
Cool.
Just because it's an adventure. But.
Awesome. Hold on a second. Ryan! Shut up! Sorry, it catches that. Anyway, okay. Sorry, guys. We have no doors, and we're painting our doors right now, so... but it picks up on the podcast, so... Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, also, and you're about to have a baby. That's an upcoming project.
So September is blocked off to do nothing.
Yes.
In fact, I would actually be in Bulgaria, I think is where they're shooting. Right now, shooting for Discovery Channel's new show.
Wait, when she's born?
No, I would be right there right now.
Oh.
Except for we're about to have a baby, so I'm like, I can't leave the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like for the new show, Naked and Alone. But I can't do that since I'm here.
Yeah.
With the baby, so.
Yeah, well, there'll be another show coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so is there any advice that I know we gave a lot of different advice, like, do stuff for free, like do all that, but is there any advice that you give to artists who would want to make art their full-time career, but just don't know where to start? Like, where's a good starting point?
I started doing it my work full-time when I was forced to. I was doing construction and I wanted to do video photography full-time. And I was like, I'm not ready yet. I don't have enough I don't have any clients. Like, nobody's paying me for this. I just love it. So maybe someday I'll get a job. And then I got injured and I couldn't do construction for like a month. And I was like, well, I got to pay my bills. So I started hustling. And I was like, hey guys, I do video. It's on social media. Like, I do video. And now I'm taking like paid work. I'm going to start doing it full time. And it was a rough, bumpy start. But I did it out of necessity and just kind of hustled hard. But I look back and think two things. One, I probably started a little bit early, so it was a little bumpier than maybe I would advise you to go for. But I also think that if I hadn't done it then, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have got near as good, near as fast, because when it's all you do, you get better. So if it's just a side thing that you do for a couple hours a month, an hour a week, then it's going to take like an hour a week is going to take you an entire year to get about a week and a half worth of full-time work done.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in a week and a half of doing it full-time, you could get what you would do in an entire year of doing like an hour a week. So like, just think about that. Like, and so you're going to grow like crazy fast if you just do it and you take the leap. So maybe you could do it half-time at first and then slowly transition and build some clients. But don't wait till you're like, I'm ready, I have all the clients. Like, you're not gonna, because if you could save up some money first, then that's great. But live cheap, keep your bills low, get a portfolio so you can show people like, no, here's proof of what I do, and then just go for it and say, I'm in it. Have a way for people to find you, have a way to sell your work, and have prices ready, and then just do it, because then you'll just be doing it every day, and you'll get way better, way faster. And that's the only way to get clients, is when you get clients, and then you'll get more clients.
Yeah.
And then they'll get more clients. And so the snowball has to start somewhere.
That is true. The only way to get clients is to get more clients is to get clients. And just to do it, yeah.
And I have a lot of friends who wanted to do full-time, and they're still at that point where they're like, man, I wish I could do it full-time. And they do it part-time. They do it kind of as a hobby. Like, I wish I could just do it full-time. And they're just not quite as good. And I think it's because they're not doing it full time. If they did, they would get real good real fast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we're not saying to quit your job right now. It's like it takes a plan, and like you said, go part time maybe, and then but have the plan to go full time and be mostly ready. But you're never gonna be completely ready.
The biggest thing is have a portfolio, have a way to, like a price sheet, have a way to invoice, so. Because what are you gonna do when a client says, "Hey, I'll hire you"? What then? Like have contracts. Like you could do that stuff on the side. Prepare all that. Paint on the weekends, whatever. Get your portfolio, your gallery. Post those photos on Instagram. Make that look nice, so it looks like you've got all this experience to back you up. And then take an extra day a week off, or advertise first. And when you start getting traction, then take a day a week off your regular job or something.
Yeah.
and spend that day to fulfill those few clients you get at first, and then slowly transition that to you can do it full time.
Yeah, for sure. And plug the Arts Academy Advanced membership. It has the contract, it has the proposal sheet, it has everything if you want to make it a little bit easier.
That's half your job. I mean, all you gotta do is have a portfolio.
I show you how to make an Instagram grid.
I had to figure all that out myself.
Me too.
You were just getting fed that. So that's no brainer.
Yeah, and so I remember talking with Justin at the beginning of the year. I was like, I want to start this membership group to show people what I wish I knew, and he started a membership group as well. Yeah. So if you're a photographer or cinematographer out there, he has a Facebook group called Cine School, and where he shares his tips and stuff and just like shows them on site, just like I do in my group. It's very similar. Minds think alike. And so if you get, I'll put the link in here, but it's basically if you search Cine School on Facebook.
Cine School on Facebook, and mine I haven't spent as much time on. She's like killing hers. Jonathan's so busy. We're having a baby.
He's having a baby. That's why.
But we'll. I'm hoping to like really pick that up quite a bit this fall. After we have the baby, and should be helpful if you want to learn more about photography, especially if you travel.
Yeah, all of his stuff is free right now, so that now is the time to get in before he starts the membership group, and then he pays. So it's all free right now. Let's see. Oh, somebody's just commented, I'm in the middle of my plan right now. My full-time went down to part-time, and now I'm 4 days in studio and 2 days in hair salon.
Oh, that's perfect.
It took a year to slowly go down. I get it. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool. There was a couple months, it was only a couple months that I was struggling as an artist, and I picked up a job at the mall. Like, I was like late teenager. I was like, I just need to pay the bills. So 2 days a week at the mall, just like covered my basics and took some of that stress off, and allowed me to focus more on film, and that actually benefited a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Have you read the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert? It's so good, but it talks about like having that side hustle, and don't put that much pressure on your creativity. Like, let your creativity be its thing while still like hustling. But I remember like hiring you for a promo gig. We drove down to Arkansas. Remember that? Or it was, or Oklahoma or something. And it's just taking up small gigs here and there.
I wasn't a promo model, but
but he worked. You could stand there and look pretty.
If it pays little, then I could use that.
Exactly.
And so it really was a hustle, especially in Missouri to like make it full time as a video photographer. Yeah. But it's a good experience. I'm there for it.
For sure. One last thing. I just did another podcast episode. You guys go to the recent one about like making a living out of it in a small town. And I consider this a relatively small city. Yeah. And I thought about I was just briefly talking about how the benefits of it are. Do you think there are benefits of living here?
Yeah, and I got to LA, and my friends out there like knock anywhere but LA. That they're like, you can't do anything in Missouri. Like, what? It's like, no, you can. And I've made my biggest salary out of Missouri, out of my 15-year career, and it's a nice hub. So if you do get bigger work, don't be afraid to travel out somewhere and do work elsewhere. I think we both do that. Yeah. But it's just so much easier to network. You could paint on the town square and people go, oh, this is amazing. Who did that?
Exactly.
And then like you're known everywhere, and like the city Facebook is like sharing your stuff. Like, oh, look at this. Yeah. And
it's a lot easier to make a name for yourself when there's already or when there aren't that many people doing what you like. I don't know that I could name off another cinematographer in Springfield right now.
There's gotten a few,
Okay, but I'm not in the world of it, which is...
In case anyone were watching, I will say there are a few good guys around the area now.
Yeah.
I'm not discrediting it.
Right.
But when I started, there was a couple companies that did like very corporate-y commercial work, and there was a couple guys that would do like creative stuff, but they didn't really do it full-time. I had like one or two competitors, and so it was kind of nice. It's blown up. Springfield's become a creative town. There's a lot of people running around doing stuff now. Yeah. There's a few that are actually really good.
Yeah.
But stay close to your enemies. I make the guys who are the best. I make friends with them and try to collaborate on the projects. Don't think of it as competition. like maybe you can both work on something and get even bigger projects, you know.
Yeah, and
So.
like with starting these like Facebook groups too, it's all about community over competition. Like
don't fight them.
Yeah, there's so much to go around.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that wraps up. Thank you so much for coming over and doing this.
We loved it. I know Chelsea enjoyed it earlier in your advanced group.
Yeah, we did a SEO, Google ads, like the whole thing. It's the advanced group is just a bit more advanced stuff. We're actually going to make that one into a podcast. That was his wife, and so they work together doing this mod box thing. She's the creative side of it and more of the developing almost ideas, and she like gets it sold is kind of the way to put it.
So we're tag team it.
Yeah, I'll put a link to Modbox and all of the stuff in the show notes on the podcast and in the comments on here. So all right. Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, also there was one. There's one comment on here. You validated the person who commented earlier goes, you validated a lot and helped me feel like I'm on the right path. Thank you. Like how good.
One of the most common things for artists and creatives is self-doubt and feeling like you're like not supposed to be here. Like I forget the word.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, like the imposter syndrome.
I get that all the time too.
Yeah, all the time, and it's hard to beat. So just let people validate you often because we're artists and we need it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Okay, let's turn